very different now. Together, let us explore the stars, conquer the desert, eradicate disease, tap the ocean depths, and encourage the arts and commerce. Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
This country of the United States was not built by those who waited and wished to look behind them. We set sail on this new scene because there is new knowledge to be gained and new rights to be won.
Let the word go forth from this time and place to friend and foe alike that the torch has been passed to a new generation of Americans, and the glow from that fire can truly light the world.
Good evening, everyone. My name is David Elwood. I'm the Dean here at the Harvard John F. Kennedy School of Government. Welcome to all of you, and welcome to the John F. Kennedy Jr. Forum. I'm especially pleased to be welcoming you tonight because what we're doing here is so very, very important, and because the time so badly demands courageous and innovative leadership. It is a moment when everything from our economies to our politics are in some turmoil and disrepute, and is therefore a moment when we desperately need the wisdom and the vision and the leadership of a new generation. This is something that was very much a part of John F. Kennedy's legacy, and it is my special privilege to be here today as part of it. I also want to pay special welcome to Caroline Kennedy. Welcome. Very glad to have you here always. And maybe we could give Caroline a picture. And I also want to welcome Tom McNaught, who is the Executive Director of the John F. Kennedy Library Foundation. We are at our best when we can do things together of this sort, and this is really the very best. So we're here obviously for the 2011 New Frontier Awards, and it's my duty now to introduce Trey Grayson, who is the head, the director of the Institute of Politics. He's the former Secretary of State of Kentucky, who joined the Kennedy School in January of this year. He was elected Secretary of State in Kentucky in 2003, November 2003, the youngest Secretary of State in the country. Moreover, he was one of only 2 Republicans to be re-elected to state office to win a second term there in Kentucky. He was credited with modernizing the office of Secretary of State, bringing more services, enhancing the election laws, and perhaps most importantly in this era when we are so concerned about our future, he was really known for reviving the civic mission of schools in Kentucky by leading the effort to restore civics education in the classroom. It is what we must all be about, a civic future. Trey also has the wonderful distinction of being the first director who held a very significant post as the vice chair of the Institute of Politics Student Advisory Committee before graduating with honors from Harvard College in 1994. He's also been a longtime member, or was a longtime member, of the Senior Advisory Committee. So without further ado, it gives me great honor to welcome Trey Grayson.
Thanks, David, for that introduction, and thanks to all of you for coming out today. I want to begin with a couple of acknowledgments of my own. First, we referenced Tom McNaught, but Tom and I co-chaired the New Frontier Committee, and this year it's our turn to host it, so we welcome Tom to the Kennedy School. Senator John Culver, longtime IOP Senior Advisory Committee member and former chair of the board, as well as former IOP director, is here with us this evening. Heather Campion, who is a member of our Senior Advisory Committee, as well as a member of the Board of Directors of the John F. Kennedy Library, and Ross Sargent, another board member of the John F. Kennedy Library Foundation. Please join me in thanking them for their attendance today. These awards are selected by a committee of hardworking men and women, not just from the greater Boston area, but from around the country. And we have several of the members of the committee who are in attendance today. Rachel Caprillion, Vivian Lee, Kristen McSwain, and Rick Musel are all here. And thank you for all your efforts. And these awards it's a tough decision, and it's a lot of work. So thank you, and please join me in thanking them for their efforts. One member of the committee I want to especially thank is Dan Finn. The New Frontier Award for Elective Public Service is also called the Dan Finn Award in his honor. Dan worked in President Kennedy's administration and was the first director of the Kennedy Presidential Library, and Dan is with us here today. So please stand for a moment and be recognized, Dan. Our award winners brought some special guests with them. So we have Luke's parents, Bob and Cindy Ravenstall, and Jennifer's husband, Alexander, are here to watch their loved ones win these awards. Now, the IOP, yes, let's give it to mom and dad and husband. Some of you may not know this, but the Institute of Politics was founded in 1966. We are a living memorial to President Kennedy, and we were actually seeded with a grant from the John F. Kennedy Library Foundation. So that makes us, in Kentucky terms, we're cousins. We're related. And over the years, we've worked to try to partner together because we both share the same mission of highlighting President Kennedy's example of public service and what we aspire to be. So it's great that in 2004, the New Frontier Awards were established. And the Library Foundation and the IOP created these awards to honor young Americans who are changing their communities and the country with their commitment to public service. The New Frontier Awards are presented annually to exceptional young Americans under the age of 40 whose contribution in elective office, community service, or advocacy demonstrates the impact and value of public service in the spirit of John F. Kennedy. I'm now pleased to introduce our respective chairs, the chair of the Institute of Politics Senior Advisory Committee, and the president of the John F. Kennedy Library Foundation Board of Directors to actually present the award this evening, Caroline Kennedy.
Thank you all. Thank you all for coming. Thank you, Trey, for your leadership over this past year of the Institute of Politics. It's wonderful to have someone who's grown up in the institution lead it and inspire us to go forward. And thank you, Dean Elwood, for your vision and generosity and everything that you do for the Institute of Politics. Thank you to my board members and fellows here today. This has really become a very special day in the year of the life of the library and the IOP, because I think these awards are really inspiring us all. I used to be almost the same age as the people who won it, but in any case, I think it's something that really is a way to keep my father's vision and ideals alive and show how they do inspire a new generation who is going forward to transform this country. So it's great to be here and to be in this institution, which is named for my father and dedicated to public service. This year, as many of you know, is the 50th anniversary of his presidency, and during the past year we've celebrated many anniversaries. Among them, the founding of the Peace Corps and USAID, two institutions that are dedicated to American innovation, putting it to work to solve public challenges around the world. And I think our two honorees tonight are dedicated and embody that same spirit. The New Frontier Awards are especially meaningful, as we said, because the Institute of Politics and the Kennedy Library Foundation are both dedicated to that same spirit, to public service, and to the belief that none of us are too young or too old to make a difference in the lives of others. And it's always wonderful for me to be here in the John F. Kennedy Jr. Forum, because my brother loved this place. He spent a great deal of time here and did so much to carry forward my father's belief that all of us should be participants and not just spectators in our public life. I know he would have great admiration for both of our honorees. Luke Ravenstahl and Jennifer Staple Clark are leaders on the newest frontiers of public service. In a time of great economic challenge, Luke Ravenstahl is helping to create a sustainable future for the citizens of Pittsburgh. Jennifer Staple Clark is mobilizing ordinary people all over the world to conquer the scourge of unnecessary blindness. By demonstrating that great opportunities are often disguised as unsolvable problems, they are inspiring a new generation to improve our world. I'm pleased now to recognize Luke Ravenstahl, who became mayor of Pittsburgh in 2006 at age 26. When cities across this country are struggling to preserve essential services in a brutally unforgiving economic climate, Luke has helped Pittsburgh transform from a community dominated by a vanishing steel industry to one that supports good jobs in education, healthcare, and other industries. Mayor Ravenstahl's belief in public service extends beyond his office. In 2009, shortly after President Obama signed the Edward M. Kennedy Serve America Act, Luke pledged that the city of Pittsburgh would help the country achieve the goals of the act by joining with mayors from around the country to launch the Cities of Service Coalition. Pittsburgh's program, Serve PGH, has harnessed the power of volunteerism to positively impact neighborhood development and youth engagement. Luke is also a co-founder of Pittsburgh Promise, a remarkable public-private partnership that provides scholarships, promotes public school reform, and leverages economic development. Today, the Promise offers $40,000 in college scholarship money to every graduate of Pittsburgh's public schools with a GPA of 2.5 to attend college in the state of Pennsylvania. For his commitment to educational opportunity and his innovative service to all the people of Pittsburgh, I'm happy to present Mayor Luke Ravenstahl with the 2011 New Frontier Award.
Well, thank you very much, Caroline, and good evening, everybody. It is a pleasure to be here. I had the opportunity to spend a little bit of time in Boston this weekend before tonight's event, and to the people of Boston and Cambridge, thank you for your hospitality. I also want to congratulate Jennifer for her work. Her work will speak for itself when she has the opportunity to receive her award when I sit down, and personally to Caroline for giving me the award and being a part of selecting me. The Kennedy family is obviously a family that I've looked up to as a family and leaders in government, and to receive a phone call from Caroline Kennedy telling you that you're the recipient of the 2011 New Frontier Award is something that I'll never forget, so thank you to Caroline for that. I also must mention that when Caroline called and asked me to come and receive this award, I had to question whether or not the mayor of the city of Pittsburgh, home to the Pittsburgh Steelers, was the recipient, and she had the right person. But I'm happy to be here and representing Pittsburgh, and I know we have a great rivalry with the New England Patriots and one we take pride in. President Kennedy's bold challenge to Americans during a speech that he delivered in 1960 ingrained the meaning of public service in the minds of many Americans. He said, "Efforts and courage are not enough without purpose and direction." It was the vision and leadership of President Kennedy that ignited generations of future leaders towards lives of public service. Over a half-century later, President Kennedy's call to action is still invoking ambition in thousands of Americans. That same vision and leadership is what drove me towards a life in public service. After seeing so many of my childhood friends move away from Pittsburgh for better jobs and a higher quality of life, I answered the President's call for a new frontier of Americans. I believed in my city, in its beauty, in its people, and its ability to once again be the city where people flock to, not from, to raise their families. My goals, simply stated, were to attack the core problems head on. We had to transform our city from the declining Pittsburgh of the past to one that grows and thrives into the future, from a Pittsburgh losing population to one attracting and retaining families. Right away, as Caroline mentioned, I partnered with our public schools to create a scholarship program that, since announced in 2007, has awarded over $16 million in scholarship funds to almost 3,000 City of Pittsburgh public high school graduates. A program that guarantees affordable post-secondary education to all Pittsburgh families and has attracted more families to move into our great city. We also had to transform our economy from an industrial Rust Belt city, which lost tens of thousands of jobs, to a 21st century economy. Working with the business community, we have been able to attract and retain thousands of new jobs in new industries that my mother and father, who are here tonight, never would have dreamed of in Pittsburgh. For example, an abandoned bakery has been converted to a new home for Google. Former brownfields are the home to thousands of innovators who are developing the latest and greatest in high-tech and biomedical fields. We've taken vacant parcels in downtown Pittsburgh and worked with businesses to convert them to bustling skyscrapers housing our city's financial institutions. And we have not forgotten what makes Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh. It's sports. We took vacant lots without a dime of local tax money and built an awesome new home for our Pittsburgh Penguins. And all of that work has not gone unnoticed. President Obama selected Pittsburgh to host the G20 summit in 2009, the first non-capital city in the world to host such an event. The reason we have become, in the President's eyes and the eyes of so many, the model of how to get it right, a model of transformation for all American cities. And the G20 wasn't the only recognition we received for our accomplishments. Pittsburgh has repeatedly been named America's most livable city year after year. We transformed our economy and the opportunities for our families, but we also needed to transform our neighborhoods. Doubling our demolition budget, we didn't just take down condemned eyesores. Where there was once an empty lot after a demo, we partnered with active residents and community groups to create a program that has transformed thousands of vacant lots into neighborhood gardens and green spaces. We made aggressive investments in modernizing our public safety bureaus while making sure our departments were working more closely together than ever. We did things like put building inspectors in police zones and tasked city lawyers to track down the city's worst landlords to force action on the most crime-ridden, dilapidated properties. Interdepartmental public safety strategies combined with community-oriented policing efforts have shown tremendous results, and our efforts have paid off. For the fourth year in a row, our city has experienced 40-year historic crime lows. All of this transformation has been recognized, much to Pittsburgh's and oftentimes the world's surprise. From The Economist, Forbes, The Huffington Post, and others naming Pittsburgh America's most livable city, to Parents Magazine naming Pittsburgh one of the best cities to raise a family, and now even National Geographic has named us one of the top 20 cities in the world to visit in 2012, one of only two American cities chosen. We were just chosen to host thousands of the world's young top leaders during the 2012 One Young World Summit. With youthful energy, we will continue to build on all of our positive momentum, and the international spotlight on Pittsburgh will shine even brighter. That transformation takes hard work and vision. It takes a great city, and it takes a great citizenry to be a part of it and shape their own destiny. All of the things that Pittsburgh does best, it has even more of than bridges, rivers, and championships. Just like when President John F. Kennedy challenged Americans generations ago, our nation became an even better, healthier nation in the years ahead because its citizens didn't just dream of a better future. They rolled up their sleeves, they stepped up, they innovated, they volunteered. With their actions, they made America a better place. A place that decades later, countries throughout the world still aspire to be. It feels an awful lot like what we're doing in Pittsburgh to me. Once again, thank you to all the men and women on the New Frontier Committee, the John F. Kennedy Library Foundation, the Institute of Politics at Harvard's Kennedy School of Government, and Caroline Kennedy herself for recognizing the important work of our nation's young leaders, and in particular, our work to grow and improve my hometown, city of Pittsburgh. Thank you very much. It's a great honor to be here.
Thank you so much. That was great. Now for our next award for a non-elected public servant. In 2000, as a 19-year-old sophomore at Yale, Jennifer Staple Clark made a discovery that changed her life and the lives of more than 1 million other people so far. During a summer job in her childhood eye doctor's office, she learned that many cases of blindness could be prevented with routine screening and inexpensive medication. So she founded Unite for Sight to send volunteers from Yale into the community to educate people about the importance of regular eye care and free screening programs. Now Unite for Sight has university chapters throughout North America, including here at Harvard. Jennifer's vision reaches far beyond the United States. With Jennifer as CEO, Unite for Sight has become a worldwide leader in providing cost-effective eye care to more than 1.3 million of our planet's poorest citizens, including more than 49,000 sight-restoring surgeries. Unite for Sight has also trained more than 7,900 fellows to eliminate preventable blindness in their local community and nurtures the next generation of global health leaders through Global Health University. For her leadership and dedication and vision, please join me in welcoming Jennifer Staple Clark to the stage to accept the 2011 New Frontier Award.
Thank you so much. It is such an honor to be receiving this award and to be here with you this evening. For those of us involved in public service, people are at the heart of our movement, and we have all been inspired by John F. Kennedy and the Kennedy family. We are driven by a vision of innovation, of social entrepreneurship, and a passion to achieve global goals and to create a world that is better and with less suffering than today's. I am personally driven by a passion to eliminate preventable blindness and to develop effective healthcare delivery systems. Just over a decade ago, while doing research at an ophthalmology office in Connecticut, I met patients whose blindness could have been prevented if they had received a regular eye exam. Though they had health insurance, they ultimately became blind from glaucoma. And it was recognizing these patient barriers to care that inspired me to found Unite for Sight in my college dorm room at Yale in 2000. The organization began in New Haven, Connecticut, and after 3 years, I was inspired to develop programs to eliminate patient barriers to care on a global scale. 80% of blindness is preventable, and 36 million people worldwide are needlessly blind. The life expectancy of a blind person in a developing country is 1/3 less than that of their sighted peer, and 90% of those who are blind in developing countries are not able to work. By working with our partner eye clinics in developing countries and eliminating preventable blindness, Unite for Sight is working to break the cycle of mortality and poverty. Sight-restoring cataract surgery costs $50 on average in the countries where Unite for Sight works, and quality eye care services should be attainable for all. Unite for Sight has provided eye care to more than 1.3 million people throughout the world, including more than 49,000 sight-restoring surgeries. We have university programs in North America, international programs in Ghana, Honduras, and India, and we also have an annual Global Health and Innovation Conference that convenes more than 2,200 people from all 50 states and 50 countries for a weekend exchange of ideas about all aspects of global health, public service, and international development. It is the impact that Unite for Sight is making in various communities throughout the world that inspires me most each day. Unite for Sight supports eye clinics worldwide by investing human and financial resources into the social ventures to eliminate patient barriers to care of those local clinics. All of these eye care programs are locally led and managed by the local eye doctors. The local medical professionals are truly remarkable, and it is an honor and privilege to have the opportunity to work with each of them. One of those eye clinics that we work with is in Tamale, Ghana, which is in the northern region. Before 2004, there was no ophthalmologist in the entire region of providing eye care for 2 million people. And in 2004, Dr. Seth Wanye became the only ophthalmologist in this region. Prior to working with Unite for Sight, he wasn't able to provide a single cataract surgery because he didn't have the proper equipment and the patients were not able to afford the care. Unite for Sight then connected him with the proper equipment to provide cataract surgeries and also provided grants so that he could provide surgeries to patients. And today, he provides more than 2,800 sight-restoring cataract surgeries each year to patients in the northern region of Ghana. And he and his staff provide eye care to more than 65,000 patients. It is an honor to have the opportunity to work with remarkable local ophthalmologists like Dr. Wanye. Another ophthalmologist that we work with in Ghana ran a small private eye clinic that provided cataract surgeries to approximately 600 patients per year. Today, with Unite for Sight's support and development of outreach infrastructure, he provides more than 2,500 cataract surgeries each year, and 90% of those are for patients living in extreme poverty. The local ophthalmic nurses and optometrists that we work with also have remarkable stories. One of the Ghanaian ophthalmic nurses, Dennis Ba, at our partner Crystal Eye Clinic, had, years before Unite for Sight began, left Ghana and became an ophthalmic nurse in England. We often hear brain drain stories like this, where professionals leave a developing country for a Western country. However, in 2008, Dennis returned to Ghana on a vacation and learned about Unite for Sight's outreach programs with Crystal Eye Clinic. He immediately decided that this was his passion, and he needed to return to Ghana and become involved with this program. He became a leader as a senior ophthalmic nurse at Crystal Eye Clinic and continues in this role today, 3.5 years later. We are so privileged to work with so many of these amazing, inspiring local leaders and local medical professionals to provide quality care to so many patients each year who would otherwise be unable to access or afford the care. The patients receiving care also have amazing stories. This past August, for example, Ghanaian optometrist Ernest Awidi examined an 11-year-old boy named Emmanuel. His mother told Ernest that he had been visually impaired for at least 5 years. His mother also said that he went to kindergarten and first grade and struggled academically, and then he had such a poor academic performance that in second grade he was held back, and he was held back for 3 years as his classmates progressed to 5th grade, and the other children called him the second grade father. It turned out that Emmanuel's poor academic performance was actually caused by his visual issues. And neither his parents nor teachers had recognized this, but then one teacher had suggested that Ernest receive an eye exam. So when Unite for Sight's outreach program with Crystal Eye Clinic went to his village soon thereafter, Ernest provided Emmanuel with an eye exam and found that he had bilateral cataracts, and he was almost completely blind. 2 weeks later, he received cataract surgery at Crystal Eye Clinic, which was sponsored by Unite for Sight since his family otherwise would not have been able to afford it. And a month later, Ernest was back in Emmanuel's village to provide post-operative care. And Emmanuel was absolutely ecstatic that now he could see. And he said that he couldn't wait to go back to school and prove to everyone that he really was a good student. In addition to providing eye care to hundreds of thousands of patients each year, Unite for Sight is also committed to training the next generation of leaders in public service and public health. We engage 300 volunteers each year, most of them between the ages of 18 and 30, to travel abroad to support and assist the local eye clinics. While abroad, those volunteers also learn from the remarkable local medical professionals who are social entrepreneurs addressing complex global health issues. Ideas now spread throughout the world in a matter of minutes. We as a global community can harness our collective talent and idealism in order to achieve our global goals. I am confident from my work with Unite for Sight that ideas, social entrepreneurship, and social investments can lead to systemic change. John F. Kennedy and the Kennedy family have inspired the nation and the world, myself included, to public service. We should all take great inspiration from the Kennedy family, and there are many achievements and accomplishments in public health and public service. Thank you so much for this award and this incredible honor.
Congratulations, Jennifer. Congratulations, Luke. We look forward to the future, because that's what we're all about. This concludes our ceremony. We want to invite everybody who's here tonight to stick around. We've got a reception in the Forum Cafe, and it'll give you a chance to talk to Luke and Jennifer about what they've done in the past and what they plan to do in the future. So good evening, everyone.